Pushing. So in this video, I want to talk about a new business opportunity. It's not new, but it's unique and untapped that you can get into when you come here to Africa and do business. Because there's so many opportunities, like I said, to do business here in Africa. And the barrier to entry to get in certain industries and certain niches is not very high. So this is a business that you can easily start with like $10,000. But let's say you're coming from the UK, US, somewhere in Europe, and you're just tired of the life over there. You just want to start like a little, maybe like a retail business over here. This is a great idea that I think you should consider. And it's called private labeling. So let me play this video real quick so you can kind of understand. Then I'll go into detail about what's going on.
So this is a client that found me on Instagram, right? Wanting to make clothes. So I sent him my WhatsApp number, called TJ from Forbidden Reads. Sent me a video of the outfit. This is a wool sweater. So just from this video that he sent me, he didn't send me anything. The next day I had a complete sweater for him. Here in China, we only need to see your video once and then we'll make a sample for you straight up. So let me show you what I did. I got 100 on my dash, got 200 in my trunk. Name in the grab bags, put my... The moment I had the picture of the back and then I had the picture of the front, all I had to do was send this to the computer, right? I roll in the trunk, like a fire on the top of my binocular trunk. How can I make them popular? Pop when I want. See, I'm living with anxiety, ducking the sobriety, fucking up the system. I ain't fucking with society. I wanted to add like the coat of arms of Zimbabwe. We made like 3 different designs. So this was what it looked like at first. We were trying to figure out if we're going to put it in front. TJ was like, oh, this looks nice, but then I think we can put it at the back. So we'll put it at the back, just right on top of the 4. I already cut out the 4. This is what it looks like. I have to make this sample because the drop is very soon. Let's go. 100 to 200 pieces only takes 3 to 5 days. Yeah, that's what it looks like. That's the front, and then that's the back. Okay, so let me show you, let's go. All I needed was a video. I had no PNG file, and then the next day I had a sample for them. 6% sheep wool, it's a blend, a wool blend. So why I use only 6% is because you wash it for a long time. It doesn't develop those hairs that come out usually on wool. In Chinese, we say, 不长毛, 不变形的. My complete outfit, it takes about maybe 2 hours to wool one. So in every 2 hours, there's like 60 pieces that can come out from here for something like this I'm wearing. Because this room has 60 machines. Right now, this is what it looks like when we wash it, it shrinks. The moment it shrinks, then it comes up like this. You're looking to make productions, you know what to find. Justice ain't free, therefore justice ain't me. So I
All right, you guys get the picture. So private labeling is where you find a product, ideally from China. By the way, shout out to my hustling Africans that are over there in China, that are looking for opportunities, that are hustling out there. Right, they're the plugs. Like this guy's the plug. Go follow him on Instagram, and let's see what his Instagram name is.
So this is a client that found me on
Call me
Instagram,
Briggs.
right?
That's his name. Call me Briggs. Go follow that guy on Instagram. I already follow him. Personally, I'm not into the apparel business, but I'm using this as an example for some of you guys that want to get into this kind of business. Let me tell you how the play goes. You reach out to a guy like this one, and you tell him you got a concept of a clothing brand that you want to put together. And then, he'll create samples for you. He said 100 pieces within 3 to 5 days. That's insane. Right now, China is the place to be. This concept of private labeling is exactly what the major brands, major labels in the United States have been doing for many years. Many years they've been doing this. Let me show you another video that I came across as well. I saved a bunch of these videos. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, this one. All right, check this one out.
See, Jojo and Luna did not come to play. They're dropping the links. Jojo dropped the T on Cartier. Luna's exposing everybody. Rosie's dropping the links like crazy. Y'all need to follow them.
Who is the Chinese supplier behind Cartier? Shuibei International Jewelry Trading Center in Shenzhen City. This bracelet costs like $44,000 on the official website, but only costs $6,000 in Shuibei. Shuibei is the largest professional jewelry trading market in China. About 60% of jewelry in China comes from here. Many international brands also purchase from here, such as Bulgari and Swarovski. Follow Jojo, I will teach you how to buy big brands in China. Forget Alibaba, check out this website to boost your business in 2025. Looking for furniture? Go to huavgoods.com. Looking for shoes? Go to xiangutou.com. Looking for cheap lady bags? Go to bao666.com. Looking for small goods? Check chinagoods.com.
If you still don't get it, everything is fast fashion. Alibaba and Shein are the middlemen. See, Jojo and Luna did not come to play. They're dropping the link.
Okay, Shein and there's another brand in the United States that black lady just mentioned. These brands, all they do is use factories like these ones, and they throw a label on it, and they call it Shein, and then sell it to the Americans for an inflated price. So Americans have been doing this forever. So what happened was, because of the tariffs and the trade war, in case you guys didn't know, there's a trade war going on between the United States and China. And the Chinese are not happy because all this time they thought the Americans were cool and everything. They could do business together and collaborate and everything, all was well, and sign these exclusive deals. So you can imagine like a brand like Shein. Okay, if you're not from the United States, if you never lived there, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. Fast fashion is basically where they just go to China, look for cheap, factories, something as cheap as $5, they could sell it for like $50. Pay $55 in China, and then sell it for $50 in the U.S. And inflated, exorbitant amounts. You heard that lady saying how much it cost her to produce a bracelet, $6,000 I think it is, and then $40,000 in America. It's crazy, and people will pay in the United States. But I think the younger generation, the Gen Zers, they caught up to this to this play. They know, we're getting ripped off, because the younger generation doesn't have money like that. It's the baby boomers and the Gen Xers that are a little bit slow, that don't know what's going on. They're paying the $40,000, whatever it is. But the younger generation, because of TikTok and all this stuff, they're wide awake to this stuff. They know what's going on. What's happening now, because of the trade war, the Chinese are mad. The Chinese are like, you guys, you Americans, you played us. They're not happy about that. So they're giving out all the secrets to everybody else in the world. So as long as you have some money, you can move in and create your own brand. Maybe they'll allow you to do like a minimum of $5,000 spend. But when they were doing exclusive deals with the American brands, they would close off the small scale, small end brands. So if you had like $10,000 to spend, they wouldn't deal with you, because they already had the Americans who would come in at $100,000 minimum or $1 million minimum for them to even start producing anything. But because of the trade war, the Chinese got to make money somehow, because those factories need to keep running. So instead of them putting a barrier to say we're only taking orders at $100,000 minimum, they're taking orders for $10,000, $5,000. That's where you come in now. If you want to get into the clothing business, you want to get into jewelry, all you got to do is go to ChatGPT, and AI now has come such a long way. It's next level now. Technology has come such a long way. AI can help you come up with a brand. You can go to ChatGPT and say, I want to create a brand, a jewelry brand, and a logo for my jewelry brand. This is the concept that I have. And ChatGPT will create you a nice logo for free, guys, for free. And once you create that logo using ChatGPT, you send it over to these factories over there in China. You know, you can use that guy that you just saw, and then they'll create it for you. Pay them like $10,000 or $5,000, or if you're not feeling comfortable paying them when you're not there, fly over there to China. It doesn't cost very much. It doesn't cost very much. That's a investment. I was thinking to myself, if I had access to all this information, social media, what else? AI, in my 20s, there's no way I would have been, grinding in America for 25 years. There's no way. Because there's an easier way to financial freedom, and this is it. Private labeling. There's an artist here in Tanzania called Jux, J-U-X, Jux. He's a singer. He just got married. He had a big wedding with a Nigerian. Beautiful couple, too. Beautiful couple. They had a massive wedding. Everybody was talking about it. Even in Nigeria, he's big now. He wasn't so big. So a lot of people, all they knew about Tanzania as far as musicians was concerned is Diamond. Diamond is the biggest artist coming out of East Africa. But he's not the best, in my opinion, because I live here. So I know that they're better artists than Diamond. I could name 5 artists here in Tanzania that are way better musicians than Diamond. This is not to hate on Diamond, because Diamond has put in his work. What I'm saying is that Jux has a clothing brand called African Boy. And I'm probably going to do a video. Actually, I did a video about that years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago, when I went to a store and I checked it out and everything. And I did it. I think I'm going to link that video somewhere at the end of this video. I went to a store. This was 3 years ago when I first came to Tanzania. That was one of the places that I went to pay my respects. Well, he was one of the very few people that was already doing private labeling. What I later on learned is that he went to school in China. That's how he came up with that game. He went to college in China. And the idea that he had was to use the factories over there in China, like this one, years ago. He came up with that idea maybe 5 years ago. And he produced, his clothing label called African Boy. And I bought a couple items from him as well. Now he's making money. He knows his audience is going to support him. So he has a bunch of stores. In fact, he has 3 stores here in Dar es Salaam now. And they're big too. They're big stores. And all he does is sells everything his own brand. Everything. Private labeled. But now his new play now, in order for him to make more money, he's opened up his own factory here in Tanzania now. He has his own factory here in Tanzania. I think it's an exact replica of the one that it was in China. So all he did was outsourced the production, send them the samples that he wanted, outsourced, and then they'll ship his clothing to Tanzania. But after a while, he figured, hey, I can just create my own factory. So that means he probably bought a bunch of machines, invested a little bit, maybe $15,000, $20,000, has a bunch of machines, sewing machines, like the one you saw with that guy. And he has his own production line here in Tanzania. And it's cheaper. He hires locals for a much lower price than he was paying to the Chinese. Because I'm willing to bet that after a while, the Chinese were kind of getting greedy. People do that. If you don't own something, if you don't own, means of production from assembly line to, distribution, eventually somebody's going to try and scam you because they're seeing you're leveling up, you're making money. So he figured out that play that, hey, I need to create my own factory to produce the stuff myself. So it's doable. Go support Jokes. Let me see if I can find Jokes right now. Check this out. He's got 8 million followers. Before, I think he only had like 3 million maybe before he got married. And then thanks to him getting married, now he's got a bunch of followers now. I see some of my Kenyan people are following him. He's got a bunch of Nigerians. See, that's him and his wife. Now he's leveled up now, beautiful couple. It's him and his wife right now. See, turned up. This is him in Nigeria. Now he's making more money than ever right now. Because singing alone, singing alone, he's a singer. Singing alone is not going to make you money like that. He was doing all right. Until he got to the apparel business, selling his own brand. So let me show you what his own brand looks like, African Boy. This is his own brand right here. For some of you guys that are not into, there you go.
Hey guys, my name is Eni and I'm at Juma Juke Store, our in-law in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. This is the African Boy Store in Sinza, Africa Sana. Of course, I'm draped head to toe in the African Boy clothing. So you know what to do. Come inside here and shop because they not like us. And that's a period, thank you. Now a pen the Sana.
Yeah, bless up. Yeah, so you see, he's got his own store now. And yeah, it's a store. Yeah. And he knows how to promote it too. All he does is he looks for artists, like for example, in this video right here, let me show you. He partners up with the musicians that he does collabs with, and he promotes the clothing line. And he even models the clothes himself. Yeah, you might not be at Juke's level, guys. You might not be at his level when it comes to music. But you could create a label that is, making you $5,000 a month, $3,000 a month. Let's say $3 to $5 grand a month. You can. Because all you need is to collaborate with different artists that are popping off in whatever city that you're going to do business in, whatever country you're going to do business in. So let's say, for example, let me use Zimbabwe as an example, because I am from there, so I'm familiar with that market very well. And this idea and this concept can be applied to whatever city. It can be whatever city or country. It can be Botswana, Namibia, South Africa too. So, by the way, I came across another brand over there at OR Tambo, the Johannesburg airport. I forgot what the name of the label is called, but it's really good, guys. It's really good. Everything is produced in South Africa, high level, high quality. One day I'm just going to go over there, just to the airport and go check it out and do some shopping. Just to do shopping, just at the airport only, because they have a store at the airport. Yeah, so using the idea, the market of Zimbabwe as an example, 20 million people. You can pick 3 artists and use the same concept that the Americans used to do. For example, there was LL Cool J. If you guys remember who LL Cool J is, if you're old enough to know who he is, LL Cool J is a rapper in the United States. He's been around for a long time, since the 80s, and he's still pretty relevant, in my opinion, because I'm an old school rap fan. LL Cool J did a partnership with a brand called Fubu, F-U-B-U, for us by us. Let me show you. He didn't own the brand. He did a partnership with this brand a long time ago. This one right here. It's an American brand. I'm willing to bet that these guys, all they did was outsource all of this to China. It's very easy. It's so easy. And then slap the logo, private labeling. They reached out to LL Cool J because they used to live in the same neighborhood in Queens, New York. And then they got LL Cool J to do a commercial for them or start wearing his stuff, their stuff. And before you know it, the brand was getting a lot of attention and sales are coming in. But these guys are not artists. They're just hustlers. They're businessmen. They just capitalize on somebody else's attention. That's the game. Somebody who already had a lot of social media followers and stuff like that. They just capitalized on it. So find a musician or an actor or somebody who's got some kind of level of attention. Partner up with them with your private label and do business. So let's say, for example, you have that partnership where they're promoting your stuff, your private label. You can set up a store like what Jukes did. It doesn't have to be fancy, by the way, because he didn't start off the store that I just showed you for the Jukes guy. He didn't start off with a big store like that. He started off with a really small store, and then he just expanded, as he started to make more and more money. You can start off, especially in a city like Harare, there are a bunch of little stalls that you can rent out for like as little as $300. And the game is all on social anyway. The game is all on social media. So it doesn't matter how small your store is. If you know your social media game, you can promote the brand on socials, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. And then you use that little shop for distribution, just to store the product and you distribute it out of there. And you deliver it to the customers. That's another option too. I see a lot of Tanzanians doing that. But the Zimbabweans are still not caught up in that game, of the Instagram game. I know this because I was all over Harare earlier this year. I was everywhere, all the malls I showed up to, and I would ask the owners, hey, are you engaging on social media? Are you doing Instagram? Well, what's your Instagram game? 0. There's no competition. There is no competition in a lot of these places. I'm giving you all the game, guys. If you have an artist that has even 100,000 followers, all you need is maybe 100 to buy every single month, to buy a t-shirt, buy a pair of jeans with the private label, 100 at $10 a piece. That's not bad. We said, if you're only doing, let's say 100 sales a month, which is totally doable. If you're right on your social game, if you're good at promoting, which is something you can learn, and you're doing $20 profit per unit or item sold. I know it's pretty high, but maybe let's bring that down to $15 profit per item sold. $15 times 100. That's $1,500 a month. $1,500 a month. It's totally doable. Provided you put in maybe, let's say $10,000 into the business, 10 to 15 grand into the business, and you're bringing in $1,500 a month, that's not bad. That is not bad at all. And $1,500 a month here in Africa goes a long way. It's a good amount of money. It's a really good amount of money, especially if you're young, you don't have too many overheads. You can live cheap, guys. You can live cheap. Now, before you say, man, 10,000, 15,000, let me put you on some reality check right now. If you're trying to go to the United States for school, whatever, there are no jobs over there. Besides, They want you to pay $10,000 before you even get a visa. It's crazy out here. They don't want you there. I'm starting to suspect that. I'm starting to think, not suspect, I'm starting to think that Africans not being allowed in the United States, or the Americans putting such a high barrier to entry into getting to the United States, might actually be a good thing in the long term. I'll do a separate video about that, why I believe that's the case. In fact, I need to write that down somewhere. I'll write it down somewhere. But I'm starting to believe that would be a good idea in the long term. In the short term, people are going to be bitching and complaining, oh, we want to go to America and everything. Yeah, I mean, that was the play 20 years ago, guys. It's too late. America is full. In fact, they don't want people anymore. If you have 10 grand to go and give the United States Embassy to get a visa, just save that money and go to China. Start your own private label. You can start a jewelry brand, even shoe brand. You know, you can sell bags for the ladies, right? If you're a lady and you like purses and bags, go to China, come up with the logo using AI, ChatGPT, slap it on a private label item, you know, bring it to whatever country you're from, Zambia. I know ladies from Zambia that has a boutique. A lot of ladies here in Africa make money off of selling clothes. So much money, especially here in Tanzania. All the ladies that are driving Benzes and foreign cars, they own in the clothing business. But if you're smart, you can come into the market and completely dominate. Especially if you've been exposed to, you know, how business is done in the UK, how business is done in the United States, and you're familiar with the quality of those markets, the standards of those markets, you can bring those standards into Africa and completely dominate. The game is completely changed, guys. You don't need to go out there to Europe like that, US like that, if you have a little bit of money and a little bit of hustle. You don't need to. The game is completely changed. And as far as finding because this is one of the things that a lot of people say is that, oh, Africans don't have money. Africans don't have money. That's not true. Have you been to Africa lately? I'm here. I see money everywhere. I see people with money everywhere. Every country that I've been to so far, Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, there's money here. South Africa. And this is the thing, is that you don't need millions of customers, like I said. You need just a couple of thousand customers, loyal customers. And you can get those quite easily. You can get them. The thing about this market of Africa is like the population is so young and they pick on trends really quickly. When I was in Zimbabwe, everybody was talking about drip. And I was like, oh, what is drip? Because I'm an OG, I'm 43. It's like, what is that? What is drip? Drip is basically, you know, fashion, trendy fashion for young people in their 20s and late teens. So if you're into drip, that's the other game you can get into. Go to China, create your own private label drip. Bring it back into the country, set up your own store. I'm telling you, within 3 to 4 years, even 3 years, with the right hustle, you keep your head down, the right hustle, you can completely dominate a market. It's not that difficult. It just requires discipline. That's the other thing we're going to get into. A separate video. I want to do a separate video just about some of the things that are holding people back from success here in Africa when it comes to business. So many things. And one of those is discipline. We'll get into it later. But I hope you guys got some value from this video. If you're ready to work with the best, this means that you're ready. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Maybe you work for the NHS. I keep beating on the NHS. NHS is collapsing, guys. Anybody that tells you they work for the NHS and they're happy, they're lying. I know too many of y'all. working for the NHS. You're just fed up. You're beaten down. I saw this guy that posted a video, video on TikTok, saying there was a lady in her, I think she was middle-aged lady in her 50s. She had blacked out on the couch, and he was making fun of the situation, saying, "Oh, look at our ladies here in the UK. They're so burnt out. Look at them." I laughed, but it's true. I mean, I shouldn't have laughed, but it's true. People are burnt out there. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're out there. You got a little bit of savings. You're ready to come make it work here in Africa. And you're interested in creating your own private label, using China as the source for your product. Schedule time. I'll show you how to do everything. I'll put you in touch with the right people. I'll even help you with the branding. I'll help you with the online marketing, because everything is online now. Everybody's on this thing. I remember every time I would go to, in fact, here, anytime that I go to any store, any shop, these young guys, they're just on their phone like this. Everybody. Young ladies too. Young ladies are the worst. Everybody's on the phone like this. It's become a global thing. That's where all the attention is. I'll show you how to put your brand online like that, promote it the right way. But you got to be serious. You schedule time. I'll put a link in the description of this video. Schedule time. And it's a paid consultation. Nothing for free out here. Nothing free. But you're going to work with the best. Schedule time. Talk to you soon. Blessed.